What's up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, in Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. We have a great episode planned for you all today. Going to talk a little bit more about the NBA. We haven't talked about the NBA a whole lot because of the NFL season, but now that the NFL season's over, we can finally get into some more basketball topics. But we will also talk a little bit about the NFL draft, maybe just who will go number one overall. I already know who Theo thinks should go number one overall, but we'll still have a decent discussion about it. Before we get into all that, Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing today?
Doing all right. I'm a little under the weather, but I don't think it's COVID, so powering through.
COVID.
Have any of us gotten COVID?
Not that I know of.
The whole pandemic?
Not that I know of.
No.
I have not been diagnosed. Blaiden?
I'm good.
No.
I had a migraine yesterday, but other than that,
Matt, no. Good. Me, no. We're survivors, man.
I'm undefeated against COVID. So
although Matt might not be the way.
Well. My roommate's also sick with the same thing, and he got a COVID test, and it wasn't. So I'll take a test right after this podcast, and I'll.
All right. Well, I expect to see a tweet on the Stay Hot account as to whether or not you have COVID. But so far, Stay Hot is undefeated against COVID-19. Just a reminder for everyone to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's not Valentine's Day or anyone's birthday anymore, but we would still really appreciate it. As always, on our knees begging for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and keep helping the podcast grow on that platform. I say we hop right in. Theo, I already know you're a big Kyle Hamilton fan. Do you still think he should go number one overall?
Yeah, I do think I don't know if he should. He's who I would take. All right. I think that he's the best player in the class, and in a world where there isn't a lot of maybe high-end generational type of prospects, or in a world where who goes number one is not settled like right after the college football season ends, and in a world where the Jacksonville Jaguars are in a position where they have their franchise quarterback, and in a world where, none of the wide receivers who I would probably project as the biggest need for Jacksonville are probably not worth that number one pick, I would pick for them Kyle Hamilton. Yeah, that would be who I would pick. But I don't think they'll end up going that way. I think they'll go in the direction of Evan Neal out of Alabama. I'd put good money down on that being there, ending up with him being selected at number one.
I think I would agree. Evan Neal is just, in years where there is not a top guy, you go back and look at 2013, this exact same thing happened. Years where there's not a top guy, usually teams are like, let's play it safe and go with an offensive tackle, even though that's not really a safe option. So I do think Evan Neal will go number one. I wonder if the Malik Willis hype train keeps building steam, if someone is willing to trade up to one to get him.
I don't think it's going to. As good as his, I don't even know if it was good because he had some bad throws too. But man, his 2021 tape is not super impressive. It's weird. I don't know if any team is going to fall in love with him like that, to not only pick him in the top 10 or the top 5, but to also give up more resources to move up to number one. Now, this might be a year where it is cheaper to move up to number one than any year before it. So maybe if you could move up to one with and just give up a late day 2 or day 3 pick, that might be worth it for you. I think it's interesting. The Lions are kind of where the interest to me is, because if you think a quarterback is an upgrade over Jared Goff, are you waiting until pick number 32 to take him, or are you just taking him at 2? If you think there's that guy in this quarterback class, if you're the Lions and you don't want to start Goff again,
okay,
you probably take him right at 2. So I feel like Willis,
I think it depends on where their
watch happens there.
I wouldn't take Desmond Ridder at 2 over Kyle Hamilton, and I love Desmond Ridder. For example, that was your quarterback 1. And I think you'll take a shot on a guy if the value is there. But to reach for a quarterback for the sake of the quarterback is almost always worth it. But in this draft, it might not be. If you have I don't know. I wouldn't go crazy for a quarterback and pass upon a guy who I think is going to be a Hall of Famer.
When I think about
in a weak quarterback class,
when I think about the guys who are picking high, how many of them are going to take a quarterback, and B, how many of them are just going to be like, oh, what about are going to just ignore Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson or Kyle Hamilton? That's my thing. I don't know. It's like, here's the thing with Jacksonville is I've seen a lot of people mock them to take an edge defender to pair with Josh Allen, and that would be cool. But when I've been thinking about, and I haven't done any research on this, is something that I want to do today. I've been thinking about like some of the best defenses that I've seen recently. And this is my justification for Kyle Hamilton. Some of the best defenses that I've seen recently. Buffalo this year had the best safety duo in the NFL. And I see you shaking your head, Theo. It's like, that's kind of like anecdotal, but
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like they did get torched by the Chiefs,
but that's the Chiefs.
They were the best defense this year. And Cincy has they were balling in the playoffs. Safety, to me, the positional value for safety is weird for me because it's like, if you look at like PFF's positional value,
like wins above replacement,
chart, safety's number 3 on their value chart, and they love secondary. So I don't understand where like the safety is not
it's behind
valuable,
quarterback and receiver, right?
Comes from,
I assume.
Quarterback and cornerback is the other thing it's behind.
Okay.
Not that I care about that. But it is.
I see where you're, because I see all the time analytics people that are like, oh, well, safety is not that valuable of a position. I'm like, have you watched football? Like, I don't know. I just feel like I watch football and I'm like, safeties are incredibly valuable. The best safeties in the league are game changers.
I remember a quote from Pete Carroll about Earl Thomas, and they asked him, like, what does he mean to this defense? And he said, like, when was the last time you saw anybody hit a post route against us? It just, to be able to play single high and have a rangy type of dude at free safety, right, just takes away, a whole zone in the middle of the field. And, like, that's where explosives come from. And if you can take away explosives, that's what every offense is trying to generate. And that's, like, the big thing everybody wants right now is, like, explosives, and safeties take those away. Good ones take those away. So I don't really necessarily think safety is like the number one, or as invaluable as some people are making it seem, especially when they're the number one prospect. Why I think it will be Neal is, you look at Doug Peterson and you look at his offenses when he won in Philadelphia. Like, what was the engine, the driving force of those Philadelphia teams?
Nick Foles. Was
it the quarterback? No, it was kind of Nick Foles. But I mean, even the wide receivers weren't that good considering, like, for a Super Bowl team. Like, it was like Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz, and the defenses were good with Fletcher Cox, but it was the offensive line that was really, really good there with Kelsey and Brooks and Lane Johnson, and I'm forgetting who the other tackle was, but like, no, Trent, was it Jason Peters?
Yes. There you go.
Yeah, no, they built an amazing offensive line, and that's how Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl on the back of. So it's like, when you got Doug Peterson here and you're trying to protect your franchise quarterback and you don't have any wide receivers to take, why not take the 6'7", 300 something pound, like, uber athletic SEC starting since a freshman, tackle prospect? That's probably what's going to happen. And that's okay.
I think honestly, if you're Doug Peterson too, you're like, well, my job depends on Trevor Lawrence being good largely.
Yes.
So, and I have the number 1 pick in the draft, and I would really rather spend it on something that helps out Trevor Lawrence rather than, even a great safety. So that logic alone might be just, let's invest as much as we possibly can into getting Trevor Lawrence an offense that just works better.
Free agency and trade still exist. I feel like you probably have, but I feel like you are going to have better success getting offensive linemen in free agency and trades than you would getting an elite safety.
That was the one thing that's what I was thinking too, because it's like, okay, well, maybe if you take Kyle Hamilton number 1 and you make that decision right now, you're like, okay, he's the best prospect, we're going to take him. We're going into free agency knowing the safety is what's going to get fixed, and we are going to focus on getting Lawrence help in free agency. But the thing is, why are the Jaguars stone cold locks to get anybody in free agency? Like, what if people just don't want to come? I mean, we saw it with Byron Leftwich, their head coach. He like dipped out.
Yeah.
He dipped out and they had to go for a second. So it's like, you don't want to get to the draft and be like, oh, we were supposed to fix, the line and the receivers. And now, we don't really have a plan. I feel like
I kind of think I just disagree. I think it'd be easier to get a safety in free agency than an offensive tackle. Like a franchise offensive tackle in free agency. I mean, even if one hit free agency,
I think Armstead's a free agent, isn't he?
Isn't like
New Orleans?
He is.
Isn't Jesse Bates and Marcus Williams? And Armstead hasn't played. And let's say both are in free agency. Which one would cost less? Probably the safety.
The safety.
Yeah.
And that's where the safety, like positional value, like, because the PFF chart has, its value, but the other place where that measures value is how much they get paid, right? That is a very good measurement of how much teams value them. And their safeties get paid much less than offensive tackles. But I mean, yeah, you can look at the safeties in free agency: Tyrann Mathieu, Devin McCourty, Marcus Williams, Marcus May, Condre Diggs, Kareem Jackson, Keanu Neal, like Jabril Peppers isn't that good, but Terrell Edmonds. I mean, there's a lot of answers here. Jesse Bates, that Jaron Kearse out of Dallas had a really good year. There is a lot of answers at safety that is in free agency as of right now. Obviously, a lot could change and re-signings could happen by the time that free agency rolls around. But yeah, it probably is easier to find a safety than someone like Neal. And I don't know if Neal is the number one, like as Seth was saying a couple weeks ago here. Charles Cross. And Ike Ekwonu. I think Ike Ekwonu is a really high level player as well. So I don't necessarily think it's a lock that Neal is the guy they settle on, but I do think I get what tackle is probably like, the direction. I think they'll go tackle.
Here's the consensus number one tackle. Yeah. Predicting outside of that,
they have their guy, right? Like Seth said, they have like a tier 1 of tackles, and they'll take their Pickett. It's like, oh, we like this guy. He's a better locker room guy or whatever. I don't know.
I have the world's fastest mock draft coming out on YouTube. I think probably tomorrow, because that was my YouTube short.
What do you mean, world's fastest mock draft?
I just talk really fast.
I mean, so you get through all 32 picks in 60 seconds
in a minute. Yes.
I'm gonna try to do one in like 30 seconds or something.
Oh, okay.
Speed up the voice.
Even speed up the voice. That's what I told him.
Any percent world record mock draft.
The 1 second. There it is. In my mock draft, I have it going Evan Neal 1 to the Jaguars, Aiden Hutchinson 2 to the Lions, and Hamilton 3 to the Texans. That's a little preview of the Theo Ash NFL.
Who'd you have
world's fastest mock draft?
Who'd you have the Carolina Panthers selecting?
Yeah. Kenny Pickett.
Who'd you have the Cleveland Browns selecting? That's the real.
Drake London.
I'm not mad at that. I love Drake London, man. I love Drake London.
Pickett just kind of seems like almost Daniel. Where did Daniel Jones go in the draft?
6.
He went like 6. The Panthers are drafting 6.
Oh,
I don't know if those Pickett and Jones are like a different caliber of prospect or any. I don't know.
Tough.
I don't know. I kind of think Pickett, because I was like, oh, is Pickett, could he really go number 6 overall? Like, is he really the caliber of prospect that the teams are going to draft at 6? And I was like, well, Daniel Jones went at 6. And I remember when he got drafted that high, everyone just groaned really loud. Like everyone knew at the time that pick happened. That was a little bit of a reach. And I kind of think Pickett with the Temple connections and the Matt Rule connections is a very, very likely scenario there right now.
Guys, guess what? I just got a text from my mom. What do you think it was?
I can't say.
Talking about
she just sent me a picture.
Good guesses.
She just sent me a picture of my sister making HelloFresh. I'm so dead serious because Stay Hot is now sponsored by none other than HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your front door. They let you skip those trips to the grocery store, makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. So, that's why I said it's America's #1 meal kit for a reason. HelloFresh cuts out the stressful meal planning, grocery store trips. You can just enjoy cooking and get to eating in like 30 minutes or less. Also, HelloFresh is 30% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store. Plus, you get to skip all the checkout lines. You can try their quick and easy meals like 15 to 20-minute dinners, breakfast on the go, and 10-minute lunches in the HelloFresh market. Perfect for you if you have a crazy class schedule, an internship, or a new job. You can enjoy restaurant-quality meals for less in the comfort of your own home. HelloFresh's gourmet recipes like balsamic fig sirloin are over 72% cheaper than an average restaurant meal. And, as you can see, my own family's digging it. So, it's got to be good. Because, my family only eats good. Matt will tell you, my family spares no expense when it comes to food.
This is true.
It is true. Family. But we like to eat good, man.
But HelloFresh. But HelloFresh, you can spare some.
We can spare expenses and still eat good. Still eat good. But go to HelloFresh.com/StayHot16. Use code StayHot16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/StayHot16. Using the code StayHot16. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. We haven't talked about a ton of basketball. I know you guys have your NBA Live. And I read through some of the comments on that. And people are like, "Oh, why isn't Blaiden on this?" I literally have class. I'm in class. Like I get the notification from Daniel sending out the tweet.
That wouldn't stop me. That's all I'll say.
You can move your. You want me to go live from class? I'm like in calculus. Professor's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Talking about the NBA. What are you doing?" So I don't know.
Do it.
We do have the NBA Lives every Wednesday. I don't know how many people know about those. We do tweet about it. We usually, we'd like to get the viewership up on that a little bit, although we do love our loyal NBA Live listeners. I enjoy them every week, and I'm excited for the chance to finally talk about it a little bit on the podcast here, even though Theo Ash NFL is my handle. I honestly have been better at making my NBA predictions than NFL predictions.
Someone DM'd me on Twitter. They're like, "Can you please tell Theo Ash to predict?" I can't remember what team it was to go 2-15 in the NBA.
That's going to be a big.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
As a Celtics fan, can you get Theo to predict that we'll go 2-15?
Hey, the Nets are almost 2-15 in their last 17 games. They're getting close to that 2-15 record. I like the Celtics, though. I'm not going to predict them to go 2-15, but I know I'll talk a little bit about them in this segment. Matt, I know that you had a prompt that you wanted to pose for us. I had a
similar prompt last year about the West. But at least two. Okay, so the list of 5 teams: Nets, Bulls, Heat, Bucks, 76ers. All in the East. And the problem is that is 5 teams and only 4 teams can make the second round. One of those teams is not making the second round. At least one. Which one's the most likely to not get there?
It's Nets, Bulls, 76ers, Bucks,
yes.
Heat. Which one is the most likely to get beat in the first round? I feel like it could be the Bulls. I feel like playoff DeRozan is probably not super duper trustworthy compared to some of the stars on the other teams. I think Levine has been dealing with his knee injury, and maybe that's a little concerning. DeRozan has been at a level this season that he has never before been at in his career, and ideally he has some other guys. He's not, the absolute star top dog in the playoffs that absolutely needs to carry. So maybe that's a bad pick, but I don't know, man. I don't.
Here. Do you trust
Bucks, Heat, Nets? I don't know.
Do you trust the narrative of like playoff DeRozan? Because I saw Casey Johnson tweet out I think it was yesterday. DeMar DeRozan is the first player in NBA history to post 7 straight 35-point games on 50% or better shooting. That's insane.
Yeah, well, it's playoff DeRozan's not even that much. Like, he has not been great in the playoffs. Like, that's just, I think, true.
But is it like the same as like
he has been playing at a level
Paul,
that he's
like,
never
playoff Paul George?
Here's what I would think about it. A lot of those Toronto teams are not built very well, and DeRozan has his flaws. Like he's not that good from 3, and when you're on a team that doesn't have good spacing, and you're also not good from 3, and you also give a team a full series to game plan against you, you can be game planned against. But the Bulls are better built to have DeRozan do his thing because their spacing's better, and on top of that, those old Raptors teams, if DeRozan was playing bad, Kyle Lowry's option number 2, and then after that, it's like, a lot of those teams were not that great.
It could be the Nets too. Like looking at the list now,
my pick is the Nets pretty easily. I think now they could go on a run, but I think they're at the biggest risk right now. First off, the advantage that the Bulls have is that they're the 2 seed, and getting out of the first round is just as much about who you play as it is how good you are. If we're just talking one round, the Nets are the 8 seed at the moment. Get out of the first round. How about they get to the first round?
Fair.
And well, it's like, okay, well, the Nets will be fine as long as Kevin Durant stays healthy and Ben Simmons comes back and is playing good in the playoffs, and as long as Kyrie doesn't miss half the series because of the COVID rules, but maybe those will change. And none of those things are impossible, but the more ifs you have, the less I like your odds, and they're in a position to be playing a tough team. I don't love it. I don't love it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be the Nets. It's just, man, it's tough. I know they're on they're the 8 seed right now, and they've been on such a, downward spiral over the past couple of games here, although they have won 2 straight. But it's just so hard to judge this Nets team when there are games, that they've played, like yesterday's game where, I see Blake Griffin there as like in the highlight, full game highlights, like player of the game, we're like, Cameron Thomas is leading their team in scoring recently. So it's once they get to full strength, and I do like Simmons will get added to the mix. He will after the All-Star break, and Kevin Durant will get added to the mix after the All-Star break. I just don't know if I see that team getting first rounded if everyone is back. And I think like if after the All-Star break, they're at full power and they go on a 5-game winning streak or something, I would like that team more than the Bulls or more than just about anybody. So, God, it's tough. Those are all, Heat? It's a tough question because it's.
If you think they beat the Raptors in the play, and they play the Heat right now. And dude, it's like Simmons has not proven he can play good playoff basketball yet. And it's not impossible that he works into that. But like to predict that's unlikely.
Yeah.
Kyrie is missing 3 games is likely. And Kevin Durant staying healthy is at least in question, I feel like. I really think he's incredibly injury prone. That team seems like they're very talented. They're not the 5th most talented. It's not like they're not a top. It's not that they're not a top 4 talented team.
Right.
But their situation is just brutal.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I agree. They play the Celtics here in a couple of days. I'm curious to see how that one will do, but how that'll go. Because the Celtics are a team that is not on this list. But I think the Celtics are really dangerous right now. And that is a team that the last time we talked about them on this podcast, we were like, holy cow, they're so disappointing. Should they blow it up? Is this duo of Brown and Tatum going to work? And they've done a heel turn so far in 2022. And, their defensive performance has been spectacular, out of this world. You're lucky to score 100 points against the team. Their record has been one of the best in basketball over the past, 20, 25 games, since the turn of the year. Since Jaylen Brown tweeted like the energy is about to shift or something, the energy has shifted there. And I know they just lost to the Pistons. I think it was a back-to-back though. and the night before they just blew out the 76ers. So they scare me too, because in the playoffs, I mean, you look at all these kind of guard duos that exist in the East, and you look at a guard duo that they can throw out there of like Smart and Derek White, which is just brutal to go through. And their defense has been so good recently. And, if you can take away the scoring threats in the backcourt, opposing scoring threats in the backcourt, their high level scoring is so high because of Tatum and Brown. So it's like, you're going to get good defense. You've got guys who can go out and get a bucket, which you need in the playoffs because the defense gets tighter. And, fluke guys like Julius Randle last year are going to get clamped. All right. And they have two guys who are not fluke guys and who are going to go out and I predict score. So, and I think their playmaking has gotten better because they added White, and it just has in general as the team has kind of improved and gelled recently. So the Celtics are another team where it's like, they're not in that list of 5, but I think even 2 teams could miss.
It could be even 3. The Cavs could win a series
from that list of 5.
My thing,
my thing about listing better not disrespect my Cleveland Cavaliers.
I got a lot of comments like, "Oh, so you don't think the Cavs belong here? You don't think the Celtics belong here? Okay, where's the Raptors, dude? These are just the 5 teams where I think it'd be the biggest disaster. Like if the Raptors don't make the second round, where they? It's okay, it's fine. They're fine. Cavs, they're fine. Celtics." Maybe a little bit less so, maybe, but I don't know. I would kind of see it as we turn things around. Let's see how it goes next season. But if the Nets miss the second round, it's Armageddon. If the Heat miss the second round, it's like a disaster. So that's why I listed those 5 teams.
No, I agree. And if the Bucks get first rounded, that would be insane. The 76ers if they get first rounded, the city of Philadelphia might not exist the morning. It might not exist the morning after. Bulls, if they got first rounded, it would be sad, but I don't know if it would be as bad as maybe some of these other teams that have.
Well, I think the thing with the Bulls too is that they've been such a high seed for so long in the season. They've gotten so the DeRozan MVP hype, which granted is not super realistic, but all that stuff. It's like if they blow it to the 8th seed, that's tough. That's a tough way to go out.
It is a tough way to go out. If you're good, losing in the first round, getting first round, it sucks. Yeah, no, I would agree that those 5 teams definitely are the ones who wouldn't be playing with house money. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the way I look. It's like the Cavs. It's kind of like, how ahead of schedule are we? It's not. Oh my God!
If the Cavs lose in the first round, the fan base will still be like, "What a good season!" We really enjoyed this season.
Exactly.
Even if they do lose in the first round,
it's kind of like the Eagles.
It's kind of like the Eagles.
A little bit. It's kind of like the Bengals, honestly. Yeah.
The Bengals.
But
so what you're saying is the Cavs are going to lose in the finals.
They are a little bit like the Bengals. Hey, if any random team we didn't expect to be here is going to lose the NBA Finals, the Cavs are probably the most likely team to fit that description.
What's your dark horse to lose the NBA Finals?
Grizzlies, Cavs,
Hornets,
Celtics. Hey, the Hornets are not getting anywhere close to the NBA Finals.
No, they're going to be picking 12th, I believe. They'll be picking 12th, and they'll pick some guy who James Borrego won't play. But that's beside the point. What else are we talking about this episode?
Nothing. That's it. That's the whole episode.
Goodbye,
everyone. We're logging off.
Well, what's the it's like the All-Star week, right?
Yeah, no, we'll talk about the All-Star in just a second. But just a reminder that the NFL season is over. But at Underdog Fantasy, there is no off season. And right now, you can draft a 2022 Best Ball Fantasy Football team in their big board tournament with $250,000 in cash prizes and $50,000 to first place. Which incoming rookies will you draft to make a splash on your 2022 fantasy team? Draft your dream fantasy roster in the big board now And that's it. No waivers, no trades, no setting up your lineup. Underdog will give you the optimal score each week. And get this, right now, when you sign up with the code STAYHOT, Underdog is going to match your initial deposit with up to $100 in bonus cash. So what are you waiting for? Go check out UnderdogFantasy.com or their mobile app. Sign up with the code STAYHOT, and may the best drafter win. Now, we may talk about the NBA All-Star break.
The NBA events are so funny. I'm looking at the skills challenge right now. It's like the teams are the Team Cavs, which are just 3 Cavs players, the Team Rooks, which is just 3 rookies, and then Team Antetokounmpos, which is Giannis and his 2 brothers, Alex and Thanasis. It's like, why are those the 2 teams? Those are just, well, I guess the All-Star game's in Cleveland, but it's just funny that they'd include just a team of Antetokounmpos. Yeah.
What's wrong with Team Cavs, man?
Hey. Nothing's wrong with Team Cavs. I got the rookies taking this though. Giddey, Cunningham, and Scotty Barnes.
With ease.
I mean,
with if you don't pick Team Rook, Team Rookie,
Team Rooks,
Rooks,
Team Rook.
You just don't know ball. I'm afraid.
Sadly, Evan Mobley built different. Darius Garland, best.
You don't want to center in this competition. You don't want to center in this competition.
Mobley like Jared Allen and
Garland.
Yeah,
Garland,
dude. If rebounding is part of the skills challenge, you guys are in the clear. But back to basket fundamentals isn't part of this.
This is so brutal.
No, Giddey is going crazy. This is the perfect Cunningham and Giddey is just absolutely the guys you want for something that involves, hitting passes and hitting moving targets and doing relay. Like you just want and shooting. Like it's perfect. Like those guys are perfect for what this is. You got to be fast. You got to be accurate. And you got to be a good shooter. And like literally all of Team Rooks fits that description. The 3 Antetokounmpos, like, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know that much about Alex Antetokounmpo's game. But yeah, Rooks has got this one. Where can I bet on it?
Gambling addict Theo Ash NFL. I think we're about to see.
Yesterday, though, I want to talk about a bet I made yesterday, and tell me why this isn't free money. I bet $10 on Warriors winning to win the finals, $10 on the Suns to win the finals, $10 on the Heat to win the finals, and $10 on the Bucks to win the finals. So if any of those teams win the finals, I will end up profiting. Warriors, Suns, Heat, and Bucks. What are my odds that I profit that one of those 4 teams wins the finals?
Pretty good. Pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I guess there's some fear there that like the Clippers get healthy or the Nuggets get healthy, or the Nets figure it out.
Or
the Kings? Are you going to talk about
the
Fox?
Kings?
How far back are the Kings, man? How far back how far back is De'Aaron?
Pretty damn far.
They're
not that far
27 games back from first place.
That's okay. They're okay. They are. How many games back are they from the 10th seed?
From the 10 seed?
3, 4?
They're the 13th seed. Yeah.
They're okay.
3.5.
Yeah, they're only
3.5. Okay.
Yeah,
you got plenty of time. You make it up. You get in the plans. You figure out a couple games. You get in the series. You get the injury luck. You're there.
Well, I was more referring to the Cleveland Cavaliers, but
I'm not too concerned about them winning the finals and ruining my bet. I can't lie. But
okay.
Anyway, that's an infinite for the kids. For the kids at home. For the kids at home, tell your parents, if you're not old enough to bet, go to your parents and say, "Mom, I have an unlimited money hack." And that is if you put money on the Suns, Warriors, Bucks, and Heat, if any of them win, it's a profit. And one of them is going to win the finals. So it's perfect. I also did the same thing. I bet $10 on Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic to win MVP. So basically, what were
the odds on those? I'm confused about the second one. I thought Embiid was like plus 125.
I don't know if I would profit with Embiid winning actually, but I would pretty much break even. I lucked out though because I had Giannis before the season, And I think his odds have gotten better, which makes it a good bet here. But the odds are Jokic is plus 380. Embiid is plus 155. So if Embiid was to win, I would lose $3 basically, or $5. So if Embiid wins,
money hack. How do they let this happen?
Here's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for none of those 4 teams to win the finals, and the Stay Hot Twitter is blowing up with people saying that
you lost me my house. I put my mortgage on this.
I bet my car.
Well, the thing is that'll never happen.
I put my college
who do you think will win MVP?
I think Embiid will win MVP.
Infinite money hack. Here's how to lose $3.
$5. Well, that's okay.
Let's say, okay, bet on all 7 of these things, and almost no matter what the outcomes are, you'll probably make up.
I've got to make more bets. Anyway,
if you bet on everything, something's bound to work out.
Speaking of betting, the 3-point contest. I'm looking at the odds. God. Here are the contenders. Patty Mills and Fred VanVleet are the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes Trae Young, Desmond Bane, Zach LaVine, Luke Kennard, CJ McCollum, and then Cat is at the bottom.
I just peeped that Karl Anthony Towns is in the 3-point contest.
He's a good 3-point shooter.
I'm not saying he's not a good 3-point shooter, but key word there is for a center.
No, he's really good.
Yes.
Is he better than Fred VanVleet?
I mean, these aren't. I'll admit that these aren't like the best 6 or 7 or whatever 3-point shooters in the league currently, but he's good enough to be in a 3-point competition.
All right.
I like Luke Kennard's value here at plus 600. That's all I've got to say.
What's Cat's odds?
Plus 1,200.
That's not that bad.
I like that.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, no,
what has changed in the last 30 seconds for you to all of a sudden go from, well, hold on.
What?
No,
I didn't think his odds were going to be plus 1,000. Plus a band.
Over 1,000.
That's 1,200.
I'm going to go back to my roots. Got a ice tray, man.
That's fair. I mean, Trae Young is, I don't know if he's going to, from a pure percentage standpoint, Trae Young has always struggled a little bit in that area. I don't know if he's going to beat someone. I mean, he's the biggest star here.
He's ice tray.
I don't know if his game is. I don't know if his game is quite built for something like this. You know, I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
He can't play make here if things go wrong. So
okay, let me put it to you: who does this matter the most to?
Whose legacy hangs in the balance?
Like, who do you think this matters the most to?
Well, it's not LaVine because he's already won a dunk contest, so he doesn't need
he might be
he's
hurt.
already won one of these.
Dunk contest is a little bit different, but I think he might be hurt too.
McCollum, I think it would mean the most for Desmond Bane to win, because realistically, he's got maybe the worst chance, or maybe Luke Kennard. Because Mills has probably got some Olympic medals. VanVleet has a ring. Trae Young has got some All-Star. Like Karl Towns, All-Star. I think like Kennard and Desmond Bain probably.
That's my 1 and 2.
Could use.
They're battling it out.
Is it McCollum?
McCollum's made some All-Star appearances, I believe, or at least has he? I don't know actually if he's been an All-Star.
He might be one of those guys who's just like never quite been there, and then you're like, really? And it's like, yeah. He is never.
He won a most improved player, so he has at least one trophy in the case. Patty Mills might be my pick though, just because I think Patty Mills has like one of the best shot forms and the cleanest. Whenever I watch the Nets and Patty Mills shoots, I'm like, that's the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my life. So I trust him to be consistent as well. So he's the favorite, and I might bet on Mills as well.
I have Luke Kennard 1, Desmond Bain 2, Karl Anthony Towns 3. Infinite money hack. put everything you got on that.
On all three of them.
Fair. What are the odds on Karl Anthony Towns being third in the 3-point contest? Do they have a?
I don't think you can bet on something like that.
Can you bet on like a loser, like last place?
They don't do ranked choice voting for sports bets.
I don't. Well, they might for the dunk contest, which is next. Jalen Green is the favorite here with plus 170. Then Obi Toppin plus 200. Cole Anthony is plus 250, and then Juan Toscano Anderson is fourth at plus 500.
I think Jalen Green wins. I think Jalen Green.
My boy is Cole Anthony.
I just saw
Obi
Cole Anthony
Toppin's going to put up a good fight
today. Is Cole Anthony like?
But they're
awful?
not. They're not beating Jalen Green. That dude, Jalen Green, is ridiculous, and I think this matters to him. I think he needs to prove the haters wrong, and he's going to. And he's going to do some sick dunks and win, him or Toppin. But I like Jalen Green. Plus, he is on my fantasy team. So
there it is.
Jalen Green. This is kind of a legacy game for Jalen Green. If he would show up and stink it up at the dunk contest,
I'm telling you, it's bad. It's terrible for the brand.
It's terrible for the brand if he has a bad dunk contest and also on top of a pretty disappointing rookie season. So he's got to bring it. I did hear that he's pairing with some like NFT shit for this dunk contest, and I don't know how that's going to get incorporated. So I am kind of praying on his downfall if so. But, I'm going to root for Cole Anthony. In my opinion, one of the more underrated players in basketball, and I find a way to say that in every single time that I talk about the NBA. So I'm going to pick Cole Anthony for no reason.
What
I never really thought of him as like the bounciest dude in the world, so I kind of surprised me to see his name here.
I was on TikTok earlier and I saw someone like doing one of those like, oh, I pick a player based on what team I get, and we have to try and go 82-0, and he got the Magic, and he was like, "Fuck, I guess I'll go Cole Anthony."
As he should.
I was like, do you not like Cole Anthony? Is like Cole Anthony? Like,
well, if you're trying to make a starting five that's going to go 82-0, maybe there's better point
Cole
guards.
Cole Anthony's not your guy to go 82-0 with. He's not your.
I'm afraid not.
He's not your lead guy. Now
he's no LaMelo.
Here's what we're gonna see. We're gonna finally see an all-star weekend that is actually good after watching the Pro Bowl, which is of course terrible.
I didn't watch the Pro Bowl. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, yeah, no one watched the Pro Bowl. That's the difference. We're actually gonna watch the All-Star stuff because it's interesting. It's cool.
No one watched it, but there's plenty of people who threw tantrums about it on Twitter.
Yeah, no, they complained how boring it was. It's like unlike some people, I've actually seen a Pro Bowl before and understand how like people's brains function and understood that they probably wouldn't be trying very hard, which I guess was the biggest shock in the world to a lot of members of TikTok and Twitter. But I will watch.
It's because everyone remembers freaking Sean Taylor just
here's the
obliterating.
They don't remember it. They saw a clip from it, and also that's an asshole move from Sean Taylor to obliterate someone in the Pro Bowl. That's terrible.
Why are you?
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't. The one Pro Bowl highlight is someone trying, and you shouldn't do that.
It's not like people are like will show that clip and be like, people used to try in the Pro Bowl. It's like, no, Sean Taylor used to try.
Just Sean Taylor.
All right. I guess the other thing that's happening is an idea that I think sounds pretty cool, which is the Rising Stars Challenge, which is a little bracket of 4 teams, a couple games played to 50, and then a finals played to 25. And we've got some drafted rosters here all going up against each other. And this is really cool to me, like just seeing these assortments of players playing like a game to 50 against each other. And this is why I love, the NBA All-Star game and why it can work as opposed to like a full-on football game. But looking at these rosters, the first matchup we've got is Team Worthy versus Team Isaiah. And Team Worthy has got my boy, Cole Anthony, someone named Margin Beauchamp from G League Ignite. They've got Giddey. They've got Jalen Green. They've got Herbert Jones. They've got Tyrese Maxey. And they've got Jalen Suggs, which is I like the playmaking on this team with Giddey and with Suggs. And you've got some guys like Tyrese Maxey and hypothetically Jalen Green who can finish. That's a decent team, but I think there are some better ones. That's probably the weakest.
We can go through each matchup, or we can admit that LaMelo's team is going to win, whichever one you want to do.
We'll get to LaMelo.
Actually,
if Team Worthy is go, Matt. What are you talking about?
It's tough. I'm high on Team Peyton with LaMelo Ball, but when we lost Davion Mitchell, I think that hurts our chances more than people think. He was going to go and lock people up. He's kind of the glue guy for this team that we needed. And now that we've lost him, we got Kuminga in his place. Plays that Warriors brand of basketball that we desperately needed. But
I like how you're referring to Team Peyton as we, like you've been rooting for them your whole life.
Team
as a lifelong, not to do the bit, but as a lifelong Team Peyton fan, we're gonna need Scotty Barnes to step up. Duarte's got to get hot, and even then, Cade and Mobley and Wagner are all on the same team. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. I need to see the Team Isaiah versus. I need to see Anthony Edwards versus LaMelo Ball head to head,
please.
In a game 225 in the finals would be sick. And the thing is, I feel like Anthony Edwards is a little bit more built for this type of like first to 25 type of game. I do. I think that, every single basket is going to be worth, a certain percentage of the total points scored, and it's a ridiculously high percentage. So scoring, you're going to have Anthony Edwards on some guy from G League Ignite. Scoot Henderson is playing on LaMelo Ball's team. When Scoot Henderson is on Anthony Edwards, I just don't see it ending well.
Can we just accept the fact that Team Barry is winning this all? I mean, they have two Cleveland players. They have two Cleveland players, man. How could they possibly lose?
Look, the thing about...
We haven't even talked about Team... Team Peyton's got to get past Team Barry before we start talking about it versus Team Isaiah. And, I mean, Mobley and Cunningham is maybe the best two rookies in the year.
I don't want to hear about this team. Nope. Terrible. Sorry. Team Isaiah, I'll give you as a threat. But to pretend that they're led by Anthony Edwards is ridiculous and silly. Tyrese Halliburton, I fear, is the scary guy on that team. And, when it comes down to it, you want the ball in the hands of somebody who can get himself and someone else a bucket. And that's why I like Team Peyton. But if someone was going to scare me, it'd be Tyrese Halliburton. The All-Star game, it's all about efficiency. Taking good shots, getting good looks.
That is not what it is
That's
about.
what it's about.
It's about playing
good.
I think
I remember watching
gritty, hard-nosed basketball.
Hard-nosed basketball. And that's all LaMelo Ball has ever known. So give me Team Peyton by 25.
I remember watching Gilbert Arenas, I believe it was, and who was it? Tracy McGrady trading blows from half court during an All-Star game, and they made like 6 in a row. I don't think that is quite what it is, but I do think that, a team led by LaMelo and a team led by Anthony Edwards is kind of broken to put in a Rising Stars challenge. So I do think they'll be moving on to the next round. I like putting Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley on a team together. Obviously, Okoro and Mobley will be playing for the home. They've got home court advantage here. So they could be a sleeper team. I don't really love the team that is led by Giddey and Jalen Green. I guess Tyrese Maxey, is maybe the best player there. Or maybe Giddey's the best player there. I love Josh Giddey, but I don't know. I don't know about Team Worthy. I don't know about the job he did. I don't know about the job he did putting this team together when two teams have Ball and Anthony Edwards. But anyway, I've got Anthony Edwards taking this one. I've got him winning MVP. I've got I'm rocking with Team Isaiah here with Halliburton and Anthony Edwards.
Ratio.
I can understand that. Halliburton's really, really good, man. I'll go.
Halliburton.
He is.
Praise Anthony Edwards. He is good.
No, I don't think I will. I'm looking up points per possession isolation numbers for NBA players. And if LaMelo Ball is higher than Anthony Edwards, I'll let you know. And if he's not, I won't talk about this again. So,
listen, man. I
do love the concept of this, though. It would be cool if there was a 2v2 like tournament, a four team tournament of like 7-on-7 of rising stars in the NFL. That would be sick. But sadly that can't exist. But I'm excited to watch this for the NBA. And then obviously we've got. Do they still do World versus US? Is that still a thing that they do?
I could genuinely not tell you. I don't think so. I haven't seen the roster for it. Right? It would be. Maybe they do. Maybe they do, and I sound dumb. There's just so much, and this is my one thing with the NBA All-Star. It's almost to the point where there is so much to keep track of that it's like they're doing everything. But I guess I can't be mad at that. That's dumb to be mad at. I'm excited for it.
I do not see an NBA versus World on the schedule.
That's not around anymore. That's what I thought. Anyway, Matt is quiet, so I'm guessing that Anthony Edwards is above LaMelo Ball.
Honestly, I stopped checking because LaMelo's is really low this year, but it's also on like kind of a low percentage. It was really high last year. I remember it was like stupidly high or something.
16 possession sample size over here. Anyway, now on to the main event, which is, of course, the All-Star game, Team Durant versus Team LeBron, which already gave us the peak of entertainment that it is going to give us when James Harden was the last guy off the board for this draft. And we needed to watch KD justify taking Rudy Gobert over him in this draft class. I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen from a All-Star game. But overall, I know that Team Durant is 6-point underdogs. I know that Team LeBron is usually Team LeBron usually is better than Team Durant. I feel like every year it's Team LeBron. He knows how to make a team. You know, LeBron is someone who's going to get to a place, trade all the young talent away so he can, play with his friends. So he knows all about building teams, and he always tends to clean up. Lead GM always tends to clean up.
Facts. I mean, he did get Curry and Giannis and DeMar and Jokic. It's going to be pretty hard.
I'm going Team LeBron.
It's going to be pretty hard for him to lose with a team like that.
I think if I'm LeBron, I'm slowing down the pace. I'm taking our time. I'm playing hard-nosed defense. I'm trying to get out of there with a tough win, with a gritty win.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he have 3 of the top 5 MVP candidates?
He's going to get a gritty win, 170 to 155. Heard it here first.
170 over hits.
Yeah, no, LeBron has got, in my opinion, the 2 best players in the world in Giannis and Jokic. He's got himself, and then he's also got Luka, and he's also got Curry, and he's also got DeRozan. He has
Luka on the bench.
He's also got Chris Paul.
He has Luka coming off the bench.
Yeah, and James Harden. Because no one wanted to take James Harden. But, Team KD is formidable as well. Durant, I mean, he's injured, so he's not going to play. So that leaves the starters with, Embiid, Morant, Tatum, Wiggins, and Trae Young. And then off the bench, they've got Booker, Gobert, Levine, Middleton. DeJounte Murray, Middleton. What are we doing? It's pretty clearly lopsided towards Team LeBron, but you've also got to consider the fact that in an All-Star game, it's not quite a real basketball game, so who knows how it'll shake out.
LeMickey obviously it's like a walk to an All-Star championship.
He drafted the team.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse All-Star.
Mickey Mouse All-Star championship.
But I'll go Team LeBron. I feel pretty good about it. What
are the betting odds for Team LeBron?
They're favored by 6 points.
Bron money line.
Bron money line. I think Bron covers the spread. I'm betting on LeBron to cover the spread and the under to hit.
Oh.
I'm betting on the All-Star game under.
Oh, that's so evil. That's so wrong. You'll be the only person.
Theo Ash gambling addict is betting the under.
Well, the under is 319 and a half points. And in the new All-Star rules, I think it incentivizes, actually playing some defense because it goes by quarter. And then in the last quarter, there's like a point threshold. And no one wants to give up the last bucket. No one wants to. It's not like just a timer counting down. You've got to like physically allow that game-winning shot. No one wants to do that. So in the last All-Star game, yes, it was over this over. But in the last All-Star game, I saw some defense getting played. So I think there's going to be some defense get played in this All-Star game as well.
It's been a while. Keep it a billion with you. I don't think LeBron is going to play an ounce of defense the whole game.
LeBron might not. How many first-time All-Stars are there? How many first-time All-Stars are there? Because if it's your first time, I think you're going to play a little bit more defense. Game, man. I don't know.
Disagree.
Garland is
Garland's going to go and lock up.
Jarrett Allen and Gobert are both in there with the two best. I guess Draymond's injured. It's too bad.
Dude just wants to see Draymond.
I'll give you that. Rudy Gobert's going to play some good defense. He has nothing else to do. It's that or what?
He has nothing else to do. It's that or what? Same with Jarrett Allen. They're going to put those guys out there and they're going to play some defense. The under is going to hit.
I will.
So we're kind of just spitballing right now. I had a take yesterday and everyone got mad at me.
What was it, Theo?
I said
I had to take everyone.
Mikal Bridges is the best. I said Mikal Bridges is the best role player since prime Draymond Green. And everyone, the Draymond Green police come after me like, bro, Draymond wasn't a role player. He was a bona fide super duper star. Shut up. I don't care. I get that he was really good when he was on the Warriors, like really good and really valuable. And I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. He was really valuable to one of the best dynasties we've ever seen. I don't care. He was still a role player. He played NBA debates turn into like he played a role. NBA debates turn into like definitions.
I'm telling you,
value.
I'm telling you, but the only thing you guys are arguing is what determines a role player, and the people saying that Draymond Green isn't a role player are just saying that does role player mean like a certain level of good? If so, then Draymond Green was not a role player. Or does being a role player mean like the only thing that is not considered playing a role is creating shots.
Don't play a role.
Right? Like you're not a role player.
You don't play a role.
Like you run the offense. But Draymond Green even was a big part of the offense, like with the pass. I think it's
I don't care. Draymond Green to me is like the best role player.
I think that classifying him as a role player is dubious. And
it's dubious, but it's true. Sadly,
you have a tendency, Theo, to walk into like fire when it comes to making takes.
I didn't realize the Draymond Green like fans are as hardcore as they
Warriors
are.
Fans,
and if you say they're
you
Warriors
can't say
fans. Like one time I said
Draymond Green being a role player anymore.
What
nowadays?
Like one time I said prime Carmelo was better than prime Draymond Green, and like they were on my ass. And it's like, look, Draymond Green, key part of a dynasty. I swear to God, if that guy was drafted by the Orlando Magic, he would not be, no one would care. He would not be a Hall of Famer. Because he's a role player. He's not a super duper star. And that's okay. He's like the best role player ever, but he is a role player. And Mikal Bridges is also a role player who's really good. All right. The Suns, he's clinched like basically 2 games in a row for them with dagger threes. He's a defensive player of the year candidate. He shoots like 60% true shooting. He's also a role player. And I don't think any Suns fans are going to get mad at anybody for being like, bro, look at his efficiency, bro. He's a superstar, dude. Playing good defense.
I'm just saying, like, you can't get mad when people are like, "How dare you use the term role player?" It's like when you said Joe Burrow was Alex Smith, and everyone got mad at you for saying he was Alex
Yes.
Smith. But like you could have said like another average quarterback that people like a little bit more than Alex Smith, someone a little bit cooler. And you chose to say Alex Smith anyway.
Well, I chose Alex Smith because he was. All right. My thing about Burrow was like, okay, my take on Burrow was always he's a game manager. And I'm like, okay, who's a game manager that people aren't going to get like super offended by? I was like, okay, like prime Alex Smith was pretty good for a game manager. He was like the most game manager you can think of. So my Burrow take was like, okay, he's a game manager more than a creator. And like Alex Smith was the guy, especially after the knee injury, where it's like, okay, yeah, like Alex Smith's a pretty decent comp here. You know, game manager who suffered an atrocious knee injury. But then Burrow proved to be a little bit more than a game manager, and then people got mad at me. And
then you upgraded him to Matt Ryan.
Everyone got mad at me. Well, I upgraded him to Matt Ryan now. Well, he's even a little bit different than Matt Ryan. I don't know who he is anymore.
He's Joe Burrow.
Tom Brady, I guess. He's Joe Burrow.
Steph Curry.
Shut up. He's Steph Curry. That's Zach Wilson was the one getting the Steph Curry comps.
That's always funny to me, dude. I'll say it every single time.
That Zach Wilson's
that Steph just Curry? Saying like, who's his comp? Steph Curry. But I like the
Jordan Davis. There's no one.
I like the Alex Smith comp.
Jordan Davis is. Thank you.
Because it's so vague. The number of outcomes that end with like he was like Alex Smith, they're kind of wide.
Hey, they both won comeback player.
Alex Smith has
they both won comeback player.
They both went first overall. My take with Smith was like, okay, he's a first overall pick who's going to end up being a nice game manager more than like an Aaron Rodgers. Like that was my take with Burrow. And my take with him is like, okay, he plays like he's Rodgers scrambling around, but he just doesn't have the arm talent to be Rodgers. So he's going to sit back and just do the quick passes, and he's going to be Alex Smith and like top out at like a really high level game manager. That was my Burrow take. And I did take it a little bit too far when I said he might be out of the league in a few years.
It's okay.
But that was in my take where but that was in my series where I exaggerate a little bit. That was I've done like 3 of these in the NFL takes fans aren't ready for. And in one of those, at one point, I said LeBron is the best tight end of all time because he had the potential.
I got to do a basketball one of those.
If you could take anyone to play tight end, you might take LeBron James, which makes him the best tight end of all time. But yeah, so I'm not like totally serious on those. They're like kind of exaggerating like takes I have, but like people didn't quite get that those were like slightly meant to be provocative. But I legitimately did think like putting an injured Joe Burrow behind that line would go a lot worse than it did. But anyway, this is about the All-Star. It's about the All-Star game.
Speaking of the All-Star game.
What about the All-Star game?
I got nothing.
That's what I thought.
Who do you think will win All-Star MVP? Do you think LaMelo's taken home MVP of the All-Star game, or
of course
do you think
I
it'll
do.
be someone like
Yes.
Oh well, I think Booker is going to take home MVP of the All-Star game.
I mean,
okay, Chris Paul then.
Okay, that I can get behind.
Darius Garland.
Like I said, efficiency. And
Darius
playmaking.
Garland is obviously taking home MVP of the All-Star
all we've been
game.
doing this episode is just picking our guys. What are the?
Well, De'Aaron Fox isn't in the All-Star game, so like.
And he never will be.
Ratio. Get a job, Theo. Anyway, that pretty much
what? No, that's all.
I think that wraps things. Yeah. Matt, talk for 1 minute about you thinking Tyrese Halliburton is going to make All NBA one day.
I think Tyrese Halliburton is going to make All NBA one day. Now he's got to play on a little bit better of a team, and it's tough. You look at the landscape right now. It's like, okay, there's a lot of guards, but They like to give that award to guys who make a big impact. And we've talked about it before on the live, where guards who are efficient and good playmakers and do the little things right are always super valuable to their teams, and they do end up making all NBA teams. I see him in the future as one of those guys who is like a 20-9 on good efficiency on a good team, helping with playmaking and running a team and sort of maybe getting the Chris Paul leadership type stuff. He's been letting loose a little bit with the Pacers. It's just been, and he's so young. It's like I can really see him getting there.
Yeah, and he's so young. He's so young. He may grow a little bit. He may become a center one day, and it's a little bit easier to make it. He may get taller,
just a little bit.
He may be a power forward, and then he can. We're projecting Tyrese Haliburton to make the All NBA as a power forward in a couple of years. Watch it happen. He's a young boy, not
NBA
a growing boy.
That fans aren't ready for. LeBron. It's like LeBron's not done growing yet.
Can we get an editor to like? We need to do this with like. We need to get like the like really dramatic like edits, like blurring in and like the slow motion like super HD edits with like the font in between it. Like not just us talking in front of like a green screen as we usually are. Just like the really like hyper stylized like takes you see. And they're like takes, but they get progressively hotter. And then they have like the whole, like the music, and it's like 10% LeBron's a growing boy. And like,
dude, I'm gonna make this TikTok, man. I swear.
LeBron's a growing boy.
The 10% LeBron's not done growing yet.
20%.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for us.
Yeah. We'll think of the other. 100%.
As always, tons of
no, did you have other ones for the other percents? Because I think it's harder to get hotter than
LeBron is still growing.
LeBron will grow, and it's just one more inch that LeBron will grow. Like, he will become 7. He will become 7 foot. He will become 7'2". I like the TikTok way. Speaking of just like obscure, silly TikToks, I liked your video where you said like you insinuated that you were 15 years old.
Every once in a while,
corporate spawn hour.
Corporate spawn. I've changed the name of that account like 100 times, but every once in a while I make a TikTok that I'm really proud of, and that's one of them. And then someone in the comments was like, you graduated in 2019. You are not 15 years old. That person replies like, well, he's really smart. It's like, there's no way that he was a freshman in high school at 9. It's like, no, he's really smart.
He's really smart. How do you think he has a podcast at 15, man? He's just really smart.
Yeah, Matt was kidding. For anyone who's confused, he is not 15. He is 17 years old. 18th birthday coming up soon.
He's going to be a legal adult. He's going to be able to, I don't even know what can you do at 18 anymore.
Gamble?
No.
I think.
No,
you have to be 21.
Join the order army. Things off infomercials.
You can check into some hotels. But that pretty much wraps things up for us. As always, tons of content coming away on all platforms. We'll be back Monday to recap NBA All-Star Weekend after Darius Garland wins All-Star Game MVP. Don't miss out on all the great content coming away on all platforms. And as always, from Corn Boy, Bird Boy, and Lemon Boy, we'll catch you on the flippity flop.